So, Brendan, listen, I want to start by talking a little bit about foreign ownership because the issue of the European Super League and the fallout from it continues with the protests and what happened at Old Trafford at the weekend. I think it's worth pointing out just how universally popular Leicester's foreign owners are. What's the difference, do you think? Why are the Srivaddhanaprabha family so loved by Leicester fans when the Glazers and other foreign owners of big football clubs are being castigated as they are at the moment?
I think in essence here, Roberts, the owners, they're very much the supporters. That's what they think about, how they can look after their fans. I think we've seen it over many years here. Before coming in, I used to see the things that they did to celebrate birthdays and everything else. But I think here, first and foremost, it's all about the support and how they can put everything in place. And it's not necessarily only a business for them. Of course, they put in huge amounts of money here, but it's all based around taking care of the fans and making sure the supporters are proud of the club. And I think that they are a great demonstration, and I'm sure there's many clubs would have loved them to have been their owners. So, but certainly here, in my experiences here, they have a great relationship with the supporters, with the players, and actually, but with everyone within the club.
It proves that you can't just tar everybody with one brush, doesn't it? That foreign ownership doesn't equal bad when it comes to owning a Premier League club.
No, absolutely. I think there's examples of that, but of course I can speak, from my own personal perspective here. The support that they've given the managers here and the coaches, the players, everyone around. You see the development of the training facilities. So no, I think that it's each individual case. Leicester City very, very fortunate to have Kuntop and his family here as owners, and they have a realistic ambition for the club, and it's obviously great to be a part of that.
Chelsea have announced in the last few days that they're going to have fan representation on their board inside board meetings. Do you think that's a step forward? I mean, it's your old club as well, but do you think that's a step forward for all clubs? Something that you'd like to see more in the game?
Well, I think it's down to the individual club, Robin, how they see it. I think that that'll be a question here for the board here. But I think we've seen in the last few weeks, of course, the power of the fans and the supporters in this country. But we're really protective of our game, and it is really about the supporters and the players, and they've come out in voice, and like I said, they're a very, very important part of the club. And I think supporters over the course of this last year, so they've been so patient in having to be outside of stadiums, but they're still. They still support their teams, and like I said, and obviously going forward, they want to be a part of that. So I think it'll be the individual clubs and how they see fit.
Last one on this, if that's okay. You're playing at Old Trafford next week, a week today. Do you have to prepare the players, I suppose, and everything else, and the staff for the fact that there may be more protests that they see on the way in? There might be more noise while the game's going on, protests outside, and potentially whether you might need to boost the security around your own first team squad as you go to Old Trafford.
Yeah, but we've got no concerns. It's obviously we've seen the protest last weekend in a high-profile game. It was, we condemn any violence that was seen on the day, but certainly for the Manchester United supporters, it's obviously clearly been a source of frustration for many, many years for them, and they come out to support the team and obviously support their role within that. But for us going there next week, we've got no concerns whatsoever. We look forward to going there and playing the game.
Good man. There's been an announcement about the cup final tickets, although I think Leicester's distribution services, or whatever they're called, the the supporter services are struggling to know how they can distribute them at the moment. But it looks like you're going to have about 6,000 Leicester fans inside Wembley. And I know you put it on the back burner. I totally understand that. But that'll be a heck of a boost for you to have 6,000 Leicester fans inside Wembley for the final, won't it?
Yeah, it'll be amazing just to see that support there. It's a shame we couldn't get more. It's a shame we couldn't have, get no under 18s, no kids there as well. So, but yeah, it's a step in the right direction. Well, of course, we would have loved more, but to have the 6,000 there would be brilliant.
I wonder if you've had time to reflect on that draw at Palace, and I understand the frustration and the disappointment of you and the team straight afterwards, playing against 10 men for as long as you did. But I wonder whether a point at Palace, now that in the cold light of day, isn't actually a bad result when you look at the bigger picture of the games you've got to come and the situation in the table.
Southampton, you mean?
Sorry, yes, that's exactly what I mean.
Yeah. No, listen, we maybe before the game we might have taken that, but as I said, the circumstance in the game, we felt we should have done better. However, it's something that we've analysed, and we now go into our next game. And whatever the result was in that game, we wanted to come into this Newcastle game and equally looking to win. So the mentality doesn't change so much. We were disappointed, like I said, to play 80 odd minutes against 10 men, and even though it is difficult and it is tough, and credit to Southampton for having that resilience, and we would always back ourselves with the quality we have in our positioning game to make the breakthrough. We had chances, didn't quite make it. So we take our point. We showed good fight back to come back, and we'll look forward now to Friday's game.
How do you see the top of the Premier League table right now? Maybe the top 6 places, and how teams are performing around you?
Yeah, it's going to be tight right to the end. We've always thought that. I think we can only really concentrate on ourselves, Rob, and do our own job. And in order to finish high up in those top 4, you got to win games. So we're in a great position on 63 points. We've got 4 more games to go, and we'll look to our next game to win, and that's what we'll look to do in all the games between now and the end of the season.
I'll let the other guys ask you about the game and the team news and that sort of thing. I just wanted to finish with a question about Steve Bruce, who's had some pretty vile abuse, some of it from his own supporters as well, and yet he secured Newcastle's Premier League status. What do you make of what he's had to go through? It's not just goes with the job, is it? The sort of stick that he's been getting?
No, I think Steve's done an outstanding job. Going in, he's limited in terms of the budget that he has to spend on players, but he's had to go in and organise, and of course the expectation. Newcastle's an incredible club. The size of it, the fan base, the expectation there. But he's gone in. They've got, he's organised them really well. Graham's obviously gone in there to help him and Steve, and you can see their football idea and how they're trying to shape the team and play. But yeah, I think he's done an outstanding job, and he's shown throughout his career that he's an excellent manager.
Thanks, Brendan. Good luck with it.
Thanks, Rob. Thank you.
Okay, Andy Sixsmith from PLP, please.
Hiya, Brendan.
Hi, Andy.
Just one on the fans, not necessarily the cup final, but it was announced that the home fans are going to be back towards the back end of the season. As great as that is it going to be a bit of a shock to the system after so long without them as well?
Yeah, but it'll be a pleasant shock. I think we had it at Wembley a few weeks back in the Southampton game where we had some supporters in, and it was just great to hear the noise whenever there was a tackle or a shot at goal or a save by the keepers. So, but no, I think every player and everyone involved in the game is excited by getting supporters back, and the quicker we can get it up to full capacity, then the better.
Apologies about the doorbell going, such as life on Zoom, I suppose. Just a quick one on the social media blackout as well from this weekend. Now that we've had a little bit of time to reflect on it, we've seen the huge amount of participation that's taken place. How big a first step do you think that is?
Yeah, I think it's very important. I think any action that raises awareness of abuse that happens online is clearly a positive step. So hopefully going forward, we can encourage the social media companies and to to look at that and reflect on that. And hopefully, as I said, it was a first step. And I'm sure that the people who weren't on social media over the weekend, I'm sure they had some peace and some peace in their life, and probably would have enjoyed it. So, but it's a first step, and any action that stops that is important.
Just a word on James Maddison as well, from a game against Southampton. After another week of training, after his first 90 minutes back, do you feel he's on the cusp of getting back to the sort of form we saw from him earlier on the season, or is it going to take a little bit longer given how long he was out?
Yeah, it's the catch-22 with James, because he needs the games to get up to full speed. But at the same time, they're important games for us. But he's a really important player for us. I think that he's gradually working his way towards that. The 90 minutes was important for him. He's had a good week's training this week, and then he'll look to take that intensity into the next game. So he's an outstanding player. He's not fully at his full level of fitness yet, but the only way he's going to get that is within the games. So yeah, it's another week for him, and hopefully he can perform at his highest level against Newcastle. How's
the rest of the squad, the team, looking ahead of this one on Friday night in terms of bumps and bruises?
Yeah, everyone virtually okay, from same as the last game. So a couple of little niggles. Jamie had obviously a challenge on him, which made his ankle swell up. But yeah, apart from that, the squad is the same.
Are we likely Jamie will be fine though for Friday?
Yeah, he'll be fine. Yeah.
You talked after Southampton about the kind of the speed initially of the game, of the Leicester approach not being up to the level. Is that the challenge to the players this Friday, to get up to that speed as quickly as possible in this game against Newcastle?
Yeah, the tempo of our game is important. You know, we like to play quickly and play through into our front players as quick as we can. That's our idea, and for that you need to have a good tempo and a good rhythm to your game. So yeah, I didn't think we started well enough in the Southampton game, and of course we then get the 10 men, and it was, but we didn't really play with that intensity until they scored. So that's something for us to look at, and we'll look to take that good start into the game against Newcastle.
Just a final one from me on the Newcastle game, Brendan. Newcastle probably another side who are going to sit deep, frustrate, just sit back against you. In that way, have there been lessons learned from that Southampton game? Is it almost the perfect preparation for a game against Newcastle?
Yeah, different type of game. I think they'll be very good on the counter-attack, and they don't solely just sit back. Newcastle, they've got some excellent players, some dangerous players at the front end of the field. So Newcastle is a team that like to impose their way of playing, but of course they have players with great speed and can hit you on that counter-attack. But we know it's going to be a tough game. They've had some really good results, be very well organised, good players, but hopefully it'll be a tough game for Newcastle as well.
Thanks, Brendan. Best of luck Friday.
Thanks, Andy. Thank you.
Okay, Owen from BBC Radio Leicester.
Hi, Brendan. Hope you're okay.
Hi, Owen.
I wondered if I could ask you about Jonny Evans and his plantar fascia, because you said after the Southampton game that he had a bit of a problem with it, and clearly you said that the majority of the squad will be fine as the same as that game against Southampton. But is that something you now have to sort of monitor between now and the end of the season, and how badly does it affect him?
Yeah, no, Jonny will be fine for the weekend. He'd had a scan on it the other day, so it's come through. There's no tear, which is good news. Yeah, it's just something that was provoked towards the end of the game. A little bit of soreness afterwards, but he should be fine for Friday.
There's 4 Premier League games to go, Brendan, of course. I wonder if there's a feeling amongst the players of this being the opportunity that they would have wanted to be in at the start of the season, to almost right the wrongs of what happened last season almost.
Yeah, it's always learning on. It's always improvement, and I think that if you see the position we're in now with 4 games to go and FA Cup final, we would have taken that absolutely. So it's a really exciting end to the season. Like I said before, we're looking up. We're looking to the games to go and play with our identity, and go and enjoy it, which is very, very important. And I thankfully we've got a lot of our players fit. We've obviously got Harvey and JJ that are out, which is a shame for us. But in the main, the rest of the players are all fighting fit and excited about the games to go.
I was looking at what 4 games to go was last season. It was the Bournemouth game, the 4-1 defeat away from home. How much progression have you seen since that day? Because it was you were 1-0 up at half time, and it kind of all sort of fell apart in the second half. But how much progression from that day maybe to where you are now have you seen?
Yeah, it's natural. It's development. It's experiences. We disappointed on that evening when we played, haven't been in control the first half, but they're all experiences, and that there, like I said, was a disappointing result for us in performance. But I think over the course of this season, I think we've seen the maturity in the team grow, the control in the team grow, and any setbacks that we've had, we've always come back well from. So that's all natural and all part of the development of the individual player in the squad.
The FA Cup final, Brendan, is just around the corner now, and a lot of our attention already looking, I suppose, towards that game. I wonder how maybe you found the players of dealing with maybe the excitement, looking forward to that game as well. But you've also got 2 huge games in the Premier League that could go quite a long way to defining your season in between then. Has there been any discussions about containing that excitement before that game and focusing on the here and now, or is the environment that you've created already sort of done that naturally?
Yeah, I think that it feels like a long way away, to be fair, the FA Cup final. It's not in our radar at the moment. It was a great semi-final win. We get to the final, but we always knew we'd get important games in between that. So, like you say, 2 games in between the final. Our focus just purely on the next game. So, and we'll look towards the FA Cup final by the middle of next week. So, but until then, great opportunity for us playing at home on Friday, get another 3 points. We know it'll be tough, it'll be a challenge for us, but this is a team that's constantly rose to the challenge, and that's what we need to do on Friday.
Last one from me, Brendan. On Newcastle, they are all but safe. They've done very well to drag themselves out of a relegation battle that they might have seen themselves in maybe earlier in the season. I wonder whether playing a side who have had possibly that slight easing in pressure almost makes them more dangerous, because you spoke about the attacking threats that they have, might be able to express themselves in a little bit more freely maybe. Does it make them more dangerous that there's slightly less pressure on them on Friday?
I don't think it's any more or less, if I'm honest. I think that Newcastle's a huge club, fanatical fan base. So when you have that, every game is important, and every game they'll want to play and play to win. So on top of that, they've got really, really good players, got a great staff behind them, and that all makes for a really, really tough game for us. So I think they'll be out to win. They know that they've had a couple of really good results recently, so we have to be ready for that challenge.
Brendan, thank you. Good luck on Friday.
Thank you. Thanks, Sam.
Thanks, Owen. We'll take one from Phil Medlicott before we go into the written section.
Hi, Brendan.
Hi, Phil.
We know, as you mentioned, obviously Barnes and Justin are still out. In terms of Wes Morgan, I was wondering where he was at. There might be a chance of him being involved soon. And also, I wondered how Ricardo Pereira was, given he's been sort of just sat on the bench as an unused sub for the last few games with Luke Thomas in the team.
Yeah, Wes. He's not available for Friday. He's still working with the rehab team and getting back to some sort of level of fitness. In terms of Ricky, he played in the West Ham game, and he's continued to work and train, and I'm pretty sure he'll play a part on Friday. So we changed the balance of the team for those games, but each game is different, and Ricky's had a few more weeks of training and looks really good.